In this episode, we're going to talk about the terminal application. The terminal is an application found in Linux that gives you access to the Linux command line shell. Linux generally will not include a graphical user interface, so you don't necessarily will always interact with a terminal application. However, if you are using a graphical user interface and want access to the command line, the terminal is the way to do that. So again, it gives you direct access to the Linux shell, plus it includes other friendly graphical user interface functions such as copying, pasting, scrolling with your mouse. It has other enhanced functions that go beyond the standard command line interface shell. You can even set preferences, change the color, change the font for your own, comfort. So with the user-friendly interface, its customization options, key bindings, personalized experience, it makes accessing the command line and working in the command line a little bit easier for you as a systems admin or even a Linux power user. So the terminal application is your access to the command line when you are working inside a graphical user environment. In this episode, we introduce you to the terminal application. You can think of the terminal application kind of like how you think of command prompt inside Windows. It gives you access to the command line, direct access to the shell inside a graphical user interface, but with the terminal, you get customization options, a user-friendly interface, and also enhanced functions that go beyond a traditional command line interface. In the upcoming lab, we're going to show you how to access the terminal from within your Linux sandbox. Hi, in this episode of the Linux course, we're going to talk about the terminal. So the terminal is really an application that is part of our graphical interface. Normally, if you install Linux, or really not normally, but some of the times when you install Linux, you can install it without any graphical interface. The only thing that you see when you turn on the computer is the command line itself. However, and of course through the command line you have complete direct access to the operating system to make whatever changes or configuration that you need. However, if you have a graphical interface to actually access the command line, you have to use an application called Terminal. Up here on the top left-hand side of your desktop screen, you'll have this Activities button, and here you have the Terminal application. Through here, you have direct access to your Linux kernel. From here, you can type commands, you can run scripts, and all kinds of things that allow you to manage your computer. And of course, being an application, a graphical application, you do have neat sort of options. So if you click on Preferences, you have text options, whether you want to change the font, change the spacing. You also have options for themes if you want to change the color scheme of it. You can follow a specific theme if you wish to, or just choose whatever it is. You can even select from the different colors, such as the cursor color, the highlight color, the default color, background, and text, including what bolded text should be. You have scrolling options, such as allowing you to show the scroll bar, scrolling using keystroke, and the scroll limit for how many lines you can scroll through, how your command is going to show here, and you have compatibility options with specific encoding and keys. You can also add specific profiles to actually load up a profile to really customize how Terminal will be for different users. You have different shortcuts which you can create, and many of them are, of course, useful, such as creating a new tab, creating a new window, copy, paste, etc. And of course, these are the general settings. What are you going light mode? Are you going dark mode? Or whatever it is. When you want it to open new terminals inside a window, or you want to open new terminals inside a tab, and the new tab position. And again, this is really just to customize the command line interface that you're going to use. to really do configuration changes and hardware changes or whatever else you need to do through the command line. Once you're done, you can actually simply just close it with the X, just like any other window, and that is the terminal. So, of course, throughout this course, when we go through the different commands and tasks that we're covering, we are going to extensively or exclusively kind of aim to give you skills at different commands and actually using the terminal to go about your tasks as a systems administrator on a Linux system. So with that being said, I'll close out this lab here. I hope you've learned something, and I want to thank you for joining me.